trying out this new. Well, it's not new. It's new to me. YouTube live stream situation without doing a nomination or without doing a thing or whatever. So just waiting for the room to fill up. But this is going to replay, so let me jump right into it. So I wanted to take a moment. Hey, everybody! First off, rest in peace to Twitch. Been playing that interview, all day it seems, in tribute to Stephen, Twitch boss. So rest in peace to Twitch. It was a fun interview to do. I had a great time meeting him, sometimes the job is really fun. It's a lot of play involved in what I do, and so Twitch was one of those guys that got it. He understood what the job was about, and we are trying to bring a little fun into our lives or whatever. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm trying to see if there's a chat happening, live chat. Okay, nobody's coming yet, but I just want to take a few minutes to go through what the National Registry. For those who don't know, today 25 movies were selected for the National Registry of Film, and looks like that's backwards. So hopefully, well, I can, hopefully this works. Hey, hello from Frigid, New Jersey. So if it doesn't work, I'm gonna erase it. But every year around this time, the Library of Congress announces 25 movies that will be selected for the National Registry of Films, which is important, significant American films that will now then be preserved in perpetuity by the Library of Congress as being important and historically significant. And every year they pick 25 movies. They've been doing it for a couple of decades now. There've been lots of, I think, Cooley High's in there. There's tons of black movies that are in the National Registry. I think probably Boys in the Hood's in there, all kinds of stuff. This year is really interesting, but I just wanted to shine a light on some of the movies that are readily available or were available on home video that I can share with you from my collection and talk a little bit about. Now, the one movie that I don't have that's black adjacent is Hairspray. Yeah, Carol's. Let me see, Carol. I think you're right. That pops. It's weird how that popped up and then disappeared. In the live chat. Okay, I see it. Was Sparkle, Superfly, or Claudine selected? Richard Pryor, Pam Grier movies. Well, actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, this year, Superfly was one of the movies that was selected, and this is the Blu-ray from the Warner Archive edition. So yeah, you're ahead of the game on that one. Also selected was a movie called Mingus. I think this is currently out of print. I think it's probably on YouTube though. A great documentary about the great jazz bass player Charles Mingus, and it's 1968, and he's being evicted from his home in New York, and you get to see, he talks about jazz and his life and everything. Is a very I don't want to use the word eclectic, a very very different kind of jazz documentary. You see him perform, of course, but you also see the frustration that he's having with being evicted from his home, the life of a jazz musician. So it's this is a weird thing. I hate to keep apologizing. I gotta tap it in order to see the chat. Mahogany, Lady Sings the Blues. Hey Daoud, how's it going? We're just going through my DVD collection to talk about today's announcement for the National Film Registry of films, and I'm doing it on my phone, which is a new thing. Usually I do it from my computer, so this is an experiment in a way. Bush Mama. This actually this no longer $20 because it's part of the National Registry now. But Bush Mama was on Netflix for a little while from Ava DuVernay's company. and I think it's off Netflix now. Sankofa is there, but the reason I mention those two titles together is Bush Mama is Haile Garima's. It's I think it's a student film they did, but it's Barbara O is the star. It's her on the cover, and for a long time it's very representative of the LA Rebellion films. And I can reach over here. Hang on, I'll hold that there so you can see it. As I go to the bookcase and pull out my LA Rebellion book. And that's a picture from Haile Garima's movie Child of Resistance, which is also on this particular DVD, which is kind of hard to find, although I think I was looking to list this on eBay and see what it was going for. Last week, somebody had a copy, open copy of this on eBay for $29. So if you're interested in Haile Garima and you're interested in his short films as well, I say grab it now, because it's no telling when it's going to make it to Blu-ray, if it's going to make it at all. Let's see if there's any chat things happening here. I got to tap the screen to see what's going on. What's going on? I'll reach on to the next server problem. Oh boy. All right, well, we'll see what happens. This is a live experiment. Ballad of Gregorio Cortez is Edward James Olmos and Robert Young's film. Robert Young has an earlier film of his is in the National Film Registry, which is Nothing But a Man, Ballad of Gregorio Cortez, which is on the Criterion Collection label for Blu-ray, and is probably on the Criterion Collection channel. So if you want to check that out tonight, get yourself a free subscription to Criterion and check that out. There's another film that is there. They said 15 films this year out of the 25 were directed by LGBTQ, Black, or people of color. So that's probably a record for that. But there's another film that Word Is Out, The Stories of Our Lives, is on the Criterion channel. It's not on, as far as I know, it's not on DVD or Blu-ray. Popular choice, House Party, not 2, 3, or 4, but the original House Party made it to the list, which is a joy for me, because that's one of the films that helped me kind of understand that you can make something that's commercial as well as have a little, cultural references in there as well. So very highly entertaining film, House Party. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but it's in the National Registry. Got two more here. Tongues Untied. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate you loving the show. Tongues Untied is on this Blu-ray, which I've brought out many, many times before, where I talk about the signifying works of Marlon Riggs. It's a complete collection of all of his films that Criterion put out a couple years ago on 2 Blu-rays or 2 DVDs. And Tongues Untied is his landmark film about being Black and queer in America. And whenever I have a chance to talk about Criterion, I always talk about this particular disc because it has 2 movies on it that I really, truly love, which are, oh, you're watching Shadows. Dawood's watching Shadows. Shadows is classic. I don't know if it qualifies. Is it an American film? I don't know if it'll make the list. It's Jamaican crime drama, Shadows. But Signifying Works of Marlon Riggs has Tongues Untied in it. And then the other film that made the list is Pariah by Dee Rees, which is a classic. My disappointment with this Blu-ray is that it does not have the original short film on it, Pariah, which I've never seen. I'd love to see it. And for whatever reason, they chopped it out of here. It would have been much better, in my opinion, DVD, Blu-ray, if they had put the short film on there. So that's about it. I mean, any questions? Well, I am here. Otherwise, I will disappear from the chat. Uh, you're gonna watch Love Jones, Gary? That's great. House. Hey, Chris. Pry is a good movie. Oh, I meant to tell you. So Pry is about a young girl who is in a strict family. She realizes that she's queer, and the way her family reacts. Belly is making it to 4K UHD in January. And if you haven't seen already, I did like a little 9-second video announcing that Panther was released by MVD Visual with very little fanfare last month on November 22nd. There are no Spike Lee movies this year in this year's list, but Spike has about 4 movies on the list. Let me see if I can look them up real fast. I know Malcolm X is on the list. I'm not sure if I can search the National Registry. Spike Lee, National Registry. Siri. Spike Lee has 4 films as of 2019 on the list. Do the Right Thing. She's Gotta Have It. Let me see. I'm just seeing if. Okay, she's got Malcolm X, and fourth film on the National Registry from Vanity Fair. She's Gotta Have It, Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, and Four Little Girls are Spike Lee's films on the National Registry. Any other chats? Malcolm X is a masterpiece. Yeah, I Googled it. Get Panther before it disappears again. That's true. I'm trying to work out a giveaway. So for those who missed what I just said, Panther, which was one of the first DVDs to put out and one of the first ones to go out of print, and has been out of print for almost 20-something years. Over 20 years it's been out of print. Has just been released on Blu-ray. Jungle Fever, not yet. This is way less fun than doing it on my computer. Hopefully the quality's better. Who's this on my sweater? It's Dick Gregory. So you can go to fansofdickgregory.com and also on Instagram and order these shirts. So pretty cool. And then again, we're still doing our hat giveaway. We're gonna announce those winners on Friday. Oh, Chris is a trip. Okay, I see why they do that, but it's very easy to trip off of it. So I don't know. Now the room's filling up, and I've run out of things to say. Hey, I'm about to jump off. Anyway, to wrap up, out of my collection, we've got Superfly, made it to the National Registry. Hairspray, I'll have a surprise guest next month to talk about Hairspray, so that'll be a separate thing. School Days, not yet. I mean, they only announce 25 movies every year, so you never know what's going to make it. But you can nominate films yourself now. If you go to the Library of Congress website, you can nominate films like I think Little Mermaid made the list this year, Iron Man made the list. A lot of that comes from popular vote, as opposed to the surveys that they used to do just strictly through critics. Tongues Untied made the list. Mingus documentary from 1968, Charles Mingus, 1968, made the list. Bush Mama made the list. Halle Garima, same guy who did Sankofa. Ballad of Gregorio Cortez, from the same person who produced and photographed Nothing But a Man. Ballad of Gregorio Cortez is Robert Young's film. I need to give him a call tonight, see if he's around. Uh, House Party, the first one, not the rest of them. The first House Party made the list. And last but not least, Pariah. Now, if you want the rest of the list, you can go to the Library of Congress website. Those are the titles that are in my collection. And yeah, Chris, nice to see they didn't do a bunch of pop stuff. Yeah, I mean, this is the canon. I mean, it's what's interesting. A lot of these movies happen to be on Criterion already. So I don't know if Criterion helped sponsor the list. There's a lot of things that Criterion has deemed important uh, before the Library of Congress did. So, but yeah, there's some pop stuff. Iron Man made the list. Let me see what else is on here. The earliest film is called Mardi Gras Carnival from 1898. Cab Calloway Home Movies from 1948. I would love to see those. Cyrano de Bergerac from 1950. Stanley Donen's Charade from 1963. Scorpio Rising, which is an experimental film by Kenneth Anger from 1963, made the list. Behind Every Good Man, 1967, not sure what that is. Don't know everything. I'll have to do my research. Titicut Follies, Fred Wiseman. We were just talking about Frederick Wiseman the other day when somebody asked about the Cool World and why it's not available on home video or anything like that. And I think it holds, the buck stops at Frederick Wiseman, who is, if he's not 100 years old now, he's damn close to it. And Titicut Follies is a documentary that he did in 1967, where he did a cinema verite approach to looking at the mental health system. And he's showing people, it's a very touchy film, people getting lobotomies, people getting tubes forced through their nose to be force fed at the end of their stages of life and things like that. And it's something that we were forced to watch in film school. Titicut Follies, so Titicut is the name of the mental health, the mental hospital that he studied at. Frederick Wiseman also, he would spend like a year looking at different institutions in America and making films about them. So he did a movie called High School, which I believe is in the National Registry. I'm not sure. And he would do different organizations like that. So Titicut Follies finally made the list. Mingus Manzanar, which I don't know. Betty Tells Her Story. Superfly, as we mentioned. Attica, which is a documentary about the prison uprising. Carrie, Brian De Palma's film, which just made it to 4K from our friends at Kino, has made the list. Union Maids, not sure what that is. Word Is Out, Stories of Our Lives. That's a very early, 1977. I wouldn't say super early, but early film, LGBTQ movie. Bush Mama, as we mentioned, Ballad of Gregorio Cortez, 1982. Itam Hakim Hoplet from 1984. Hairspray, John Waters film. Then we get into Little Mermaid, 1989. Wow, hard to believe Little Mermaid was that long ago. And that's another thing. The films have to be a certain age for them to be included in this National Registry. I think the cutoff is 10 years. So Tongues Untied, When Harry Met Sally, House Party, Iron Man, and Pariah make the list. So that's about it. Let me check these questions, and I'm gonna bounce out of here. Check eBay. Malcolm X, easy to find. Malcolm X, it just came out on Criterion. Yeah. Where's my pressing? Hang on. That's not it. Where's Malcolm X? Where's Malcolm X? I see Belly. Got so much crap around here. We should do a podcast on movies that will never make the list. Like Who Made the Potato Salad will never make the list. You guys are having too much fun in the in the chat talking about movies. I think Blues Brothers is on the list already. That's a classic. I'm not sure if Michael Jackson's Thriller is in there, but shout out to John Landis. Hey, Elizabeth. All right, so we're just hanging out now. Um, I'll answer any questions. We'll take another 5 minutes if you want. Black Devil Doll. How does Chris know about Black Devil Doll? I agree. Belly should. Well, I don't know if Belly should be on the list. I think the Belly without sound should be on the list. Takashi. Where is? I just wanted to show the Malcolm X so people know what it looks like. I'm showing the back of my head. Not good television, folks. I just saw. Oh, maybe I put it in the closet. I probably put it away. Okay, so Friday, I agree. Friday is very socially. Hey, Brandon. Uh, Socially relevant film. Friday should definitely make the list. I'm just trying to see if there's anything over here worth talking about in the collection. No, not really. A short film called Sweet Potato Ride. Oh, I agree. Sweet Potato Ride is a classic for those from that time period who remember, like, I think it's like 1993, 1994. Sweet Potato Ride was nominated for an Academy Award. It was one of the first black movies nominated for an award. It's basically about two older people who get dressed up for a Sunday drive, and they're basically going to commit suicide together. And Diane, what was the name of that woman's name? Jennifer or Diane or something, directed it. Diane Houston, if I'm right. Somebody look that up. Sweet Potato Ride. I think it's Diane Houston made that movie. But yeah, it disappeared. For a long time, you could find it. It would be broadcast on cable. I never recorded it because I was busy in film school when it came out. But I did have an opportunity to see it and meet the filmmaker. Dummy. That's a TV movie. I don't know if there's any television films in the registry. 1 week. Yeah, I agree. That's a great black independent film. We should have that guy on. He's still making movies. He's still doing TV and stuff. 1 week out of Chicago. Basically, I forget what it was. He's waiting for the results of his HIV test. Is that the story? Eve's Bio is on the list already. That made it last year. Brandon can double check. Daughters of the Dust has made the list already. Should that be a podcast to talk about black films in the National Registry? I'd have to get a guest. I have to get a guest on to talk about some of these films. But yeah, that's an idea. Maybe that'll be our next podcast to go through all those things. Sankofa, I believe, is on the list. Yeah, somebody already brought up 1 week, Takashi. So we could do two parts. One, like movies that have made the list, and then a part two of movies that should be on the list, and then maybe a list of movies that should never make it to the list. I don't believe in burning art, but there's certain movies I need to erase from my memory, like Soul Plane. Soul Plane should never make it to the National Registry. If it does, that's like Herschel Walker becoming senator. If Soul Plane made the National Registry. Sprung. Well, I love Rusty Cundieff. We're not going to say anything bad about Rusty Cundieff today, but Sprung. I don't know how I feel about Sprung. Slam. Well, and now we're making our own list. Losing Ground, Sprung. Glory. Is Glory on the list? It should be if it's not. because it's historically relevant, you know. Ed Zwick, Black 90s romantic rom-coms. The Corner. I just got that. I never saw it. I didn't have HBO back in the day, so I've never seen Oz. I got The Wire here. It's still sealed. Never watched The Wire, never watched Oz, never watched The Corner, missed all that stuff. Kim Green, Camille Tucker. Thank you for looking that up. Sweet Kim Green, Camille Tucker, Sweet Potato Ride. Cooley High is on the list. Cooley High actually comes out next week on Criterion 4K. And now the chat's moving quick. Last Dragon, that's a stretch. Raising the Sun is on the list. So why am I thinking Diane Houston? That's the weird thing. Now Mahogany. The Wiz on the list. I don't know. People, if you watch Elvis Mitchell's documentary, and you know, it's like The Wiz didn't make any money, so a lot of people don't consider it a classic. Cornbread Only Me. We're making our own list tonight. We're making our own list tonight. Rock a retrospective. Rock a retrospective. Well, it's criminal that Rock is not available, more widely available. I think Claudine is on the list. I can't just Google black films on the list. I have to do a whole podcast around it. Daughters of Dust, Cinematically Beautiful. The Wiz is definitely a classic for us. I love The Wiz. Yeah, for sure. Life with Eddie Murphy. Wow. That's interesting. What's Eddie Murphy? If there was an Eddie Murphy movie that made it to the National Registry, I don't know if I would make it Life. There's got to be a. I mean, what should that be? Boomerang? Reggie Hudlin? Well, Reggie's got House Party now, so maybe. Frederick Douglass, Lost of Time. Mr. Church. 48 Hours. 48 Hours! Walter Hill. Maybe. The Salon. Nora's Hair Salon. There's so many hair salon movies, it's not funny. And then Hair Show with Monique. But I actually have the majority of my Eddie Murphy movies are on the shelf here. Let me see if I can pull them out. We can take a vote. Hang on. Pulling up my pants. And we are live. Okay. All right. So here's Eddie Murphy movies. All right, so we're going to have a petition. Which Eddie Murphy movie should make it to the National Registry? These are not in any kind of order. We got 48 Hours. Vampire in Brooklyn. I just got that in. I haven't watched it yet. Bowfinger. My pick. I think Bowfinger should be. That's my favorite Eddie Murphy. Harlem Nights. Boomerang. Just made it to Blu-ray recently, along with Harlem Nights. Nutty Professor. Nutty Professor? The first and second one? Okay, no, you're jumping ahead. Coming to America. Wow, this is in 4K. I might put that on tonight. I'll finish up work. Trading Places. Trading Places? Okay. Life? Somebody already mentioned Life. I mean, you could pick two. Beverly Hills Cop. Now I just found out somebody posted the Beverly Hills Cop pilot from 2013 with Brandon T. Jackson and Eddie Murphy on YouTube, and it got taken down like that. I'm just wondering if there's anybody out there that happened to download it before they did the takedown, because I would love to see that. I mean, I wouldn't repost it, but if anybody happened to get that link and download it, please send it to me. Norbit, and you see I paid $350 for this. Boy, that was overpriced. What was I thinking? I paid $350 for Norbit. No disrespect. Norbit's funny. And then you got the two, Delirious and Raw. Now this should be a third concert film to go along with this. This is Criminal. He didn't do a trilogy. We just have those two pieces. We have the first album. I guess if somebody really wanted to, they could take the video of Eddie Murphy rehearsing at the comic strip his first album and make that into a DVD, and then you have a trilogy. He put out 3 albums basically. Boogie in Your Butt, exactly, and then Golden Child, and then that was Criminal, $350. So what's the vote? What did we come up with? Did anybody tally? Chris or Daoud? What was the winner? Norbert, Trading Places, so educational. Trading Places was classic. I love John Landis, so I'm gonna say if I had to vote for one Eddie Murphy movie to be in the National Registry, Nutty Professor, maybe. I would put this one in. Distinguished Gentleman. Oh, Coming to America. I don't know. I'm trying to see the chat. This is a defective product in my opinion. Because I got to tap the screen. You literally see my finger rubbing against stuff so I can read this. Hey Zuri, hey Fru Janel, I can't see, my tongue is tied tonight. Auntie Ava. Okay. Yeah, Norbit. Bad. So Norbit, no. Trading Places, maybe. Do you remember The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh? I do. What criteria to get into national? It's supposed to be historically important to American cinema. It's cinema, and it should be preserved for all time, for eternity, by the government. So our money goes to restore these films. I'm so happy about House Party. Superfly is pretty cool that it gets that treatment. Trading Place, not the same level as Coming to America. I think it's an age thing. I think I grew up liking them all, but Coming to America. All right, we gotta do a tiebreaker. So we got, as far as Eddie Murphy movies. All right, are we voting this one off the island? Or is this going off the island? Well, Bill Cosby, it's gonna be very tough. Let's do it again, Dawood is saying. Bill Cosby is going to be very tough from now on to get a Bill Cosby movie in the National Registry. All right, so Beverly Hills Cop is off the island, right? Nobody. It's going to be between these two and 48 Hours. I'm trying to find. So this is the Eddie Murphy canon. It will be Coming to America is culturally significant. Beverly Hills Cop is a classic. Boomerang had an all-star cast. Well, these are the 3 we're voting on. You know, this is the runoff election. And so I see the best man. It's going fast. All right, hang on. Coming to America, coming to America, coming to America, coming to, wow. Okay, so this is everybody's favorite Eddie Murphy movie? All right, I can see that. Rick Baker makeup, John Landis direction, great costumes. Was it Paul Abdul choreography? All right, sounds like we have a winner as far as Eddie Murphy stuff going into the canon. Um, she's your queen to be. That was so cool in the sequel. They brought that guy back. Oh God! Now people are on a nostalgia trip. I'll let the nostalgia trip ride out, and then I'm gonna go. Okay, it's Trading Places with Sociology 101 Reasons Alone. Good and terrible. Okay. Coming to America has a beautiful black cast. I agree. I agree. I think I told my story about the poster when I saw the poster in France and everything. So that's cool. So Queen to Be is. All right. It's been fun. Let me see how to get out of here. So we did the registry. We picked our own Eddie Murphy movie. I'll be back in the morning with gospel because we played Biggie and Tupac all day this morning. We're gonna do a gospel by request playback in the morning at 9:15 Eastern time, and it's still, I guess people are still getting home on the West Coast. But thanks for hanging out. We're gonna stomp tomorrow? No. Oh, I'll stomp in church. All right. Sounds great. All right. Peace and blessings. Thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you soon. Let me figure out how to get off this thing.